As far as managers are concerned, we don't get involved with managers. We only work with artists who are nice. If you're a problem or your band's a problem while I'm recording the album or EP, then I'm very unlikely to want to release it.
We'll talk about that.
It's quite poor. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ian and we are a music and arts channel that cover anything to do with the arts. And this is a video in a series about how to start a record label. All of the previous episodes are in the description section down below if you'd like to watch them. And so this is video number 27, so there's quite a bit of content to go at. And this is another Q&A session. As I got a message from a chap called Tom via the Sinners Music page on Facebook, which said, "Hi Ian, would you be a lifesaver and answer a few questions for me as a case study for a university project due in on Friday?" It's due in on Friday. I'd really appreciate it. So here's a series of questions. So all of these questions were about the running of Sinners Music, my record label. When was Sinners Music established? Well, the limited company was incorporated in October 2012. When I was looking to buy a music retail business and I needed an off-the-shelf limited company. The reason for choosing a limited company over a partnership was that I was buying a failing music shop business and there was doubt as if we could actually turn the business around. So by limiting my liability, if the business did go bust, then I wouldn't have banks and creditors coming for my house. It's worth pointing out that before working in university education, which I did for 17 years, I had run a retail audio hi-fi business. And I ran that business for 10 years and I was always in debt to the bank, and at that time I did remortgage my house to help the business survive. I would never do that now because it did get a bit hairy at times. Next question. How long did it take between Sinners Music being an idea and becoming a ready-to-function company? The original idea for Sinners Music came out of a folk punk band that I played in from 2005 to 2007. Great band, Ryan Sholo and the Bloody Marys. And in fact, you can get all their back catalogue from our website. And the band had a song called Sinners, and we sold a Sinners t-shirt, we sold band DVDs and CDs, and all of that sort of stuff. So to actually help promote that, I launched a label in 2006, mainly just for the Bloody Marys releases.
With us tonight, so if any of you wants to buy a copy of the Sinners EP, please approach me afterwards. It is only £2. And this is the lead track off it, called Sinners.
Live your life a sinner in the hope that things will change. You all do the changing with the hope that they have made. Learn to hide your feelings from the cradle to the grave. Education freed us so we can serve our ways. When I lie, with my head held high, I'll lie, with my head held high. Be anything you want to, if anyone cares, but never let them touch you in case someday they're not there. Love is for the foolish, and fools like me are found in the God-forsaken corners of every modern town. When I'm dying, with my head held high, I'm lying, with my head held high. You made me, you made me, you made me look into my eyes. You made me, you made me, you made me look into my eyes. Live our lives as sinners in the hope that things will change. We all do the changing of the hope that they have made. Ignorance will save us from the sin of let's pretend.
band split up, and so by 2012 I was releasing my solo music through Sinners Music, and it was mainly CD at the time. So when I was looking for a limited company, my first choice was to see if I could get Sinners Music Ltd, as I already had the Sinners Music label, and I was amazed that the company name was still available. And once we had the limited company registered, I took over the music shop at the end of December 2012. We started running that, and it took about 6 months to build the studio, which was above the premises of the shop. And I still continued to release my own music through Sinners Music, and it was all tied in with the Sinners Music Limited company. The first client that the label had that wasn't a band or a solo project, because I played in some other bands after the Bloody Marys, and all of those bands were released through Sinners Music. The first paying client that Sinners Music had was a chap called Chris Brearley.
The traffic and the juggernaut you see, holding everybody up, I'll bet the driver's me. And if you're ever driving down some leafy country lane, and the road up comes and burns you up, I'll bet that's me again. If you're stranded, need assistance with a tow rope or a jack, wave to me as I go by, I'll always wave right back. And if you're ever fuming 'cause your starter's gone all wrong, I'll ram you up your bumper just to help you move along. 'Cause I'm not a pleasant trucker or a pleasant trucker's mate. I can speed and make you nervous, I can slow and make you late, I can make you slam your anchors on, disaster to avoid. I can drive so close behind you, it'll make you paranoid. When you're really in a hurry and you're eating up the road, and you meet a 5-mile tailback, I'm the one who shed his load. When you're stuck in one-way systems and wondering who's to blame, tried to creep up on the inside and I'll stop your little game. When the weather turns inclement and the roads are rainy sheen, I'll overtake at 60, splash mud across your screen. When the fog falls like a blanket and everyone is blind, that noise you hear grow louder is me coming up behind. 'Cause I'm not a pleasant trucker or a pleasant trucker's mate. I can speed and make you nervous, I can slow and make you late, I can make you slam your anchors on, disaster to avoid. I can drive so close behind you, it'll make you paranoid. Paranoid! Get out the road, Sunday drivers. I'm not a pleasant trucker.
The second paying client that Sinners Music had was a chap called Chris Brearley, and we worked on his album mostly through 2015, through 2016, and the album came out in September 2016.
Ba, 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 ba. Here's a secret. I really honestly truly fancy Marge Simpson.
I really honestly truly fancy Marge Simpson. I hurry home every night just to get a glimpse on Channel 4 at 6 o'clock. Marge, baby, you rock. I'm nearly in a coma, so won't you leave home for me? Marge, let me cook for you a romantic meal. By candlelight I'll soon see how you feel. I'll run my fingers through your hair. If I've got a few hours to spare, I've got a catering diploma, so won't you leave home for me? Marge, even your name is edible. And from everything I've ever heard, easily spreadable. You're perfect it seems, and even in my dreams I imagine you're a roamer, so won't you leave home for me? Marge, I'd like to take you far from home. Let your blue hair down as we wander round Rome. Mag is no trouble, Lisa's smart. Whatever you do, don't bring part. I'll whisk you off to Roma if you just leave home for me. Marge, if you flash me a smile, I will be in heaven. You may be short, but your hair makes you 6'7". I would be such a lucky fellow to kiss your cheek so yellow. So now I'm gonna phone her and beg her to leave home for me. Don't tell me you're just a cartoon that started life as a drawing. When I see you in the bedroom, it has my temperature soaring. I really honestly truly fancy Marge Simpson. I hurry home every night just to get a glimpse on Channel 4 at 6 o'clock. Marge, baby, you rock. I'm nearly in a coma, so won't you leave home for me? I'm nearly in a coma, so won't you leave home for me? I'm nearly in a coma, so won't you leave home for me?
Next question, which licenses were needed in place in order to become an established label? PRS, PPL, etc. Well, I already had a PRS and PPL account in 2006, so didn't need to do anything extra when we set up the limited company. I don't get involved with artist mechanicals, so I didn't need to do anything as far as licenses were concerned. That's something we would have had to do if we're working with cover versions, and we haven't done up until now. We did come close with a blues band that I was working with a few years ago. We had half of their album that these guys were working on was covers, so I would have had to sort out licenses for North America, but in the end my relationship with the lead singer became a problem, so when it comes to release the album I declined to release the album. It's also worth pointing out that I only work with bands and artists that I like. Now, I'm not talking necessarily about the music, because some of the artists we've released, their music isn't to my taste. It's not about that. It's really, but it is about, I'm going to have a long-term relationship with this band or this artist, because I'll be collecting royalties for them for ages, forever really, to some extent. So if you're a problem, or your band's a problem while I'm recording the album or EP, then I'm very unlikely to want to release it. I'm happy to go and do the recording, but then we move on to other things. Next question, what's the biggest obstacles you came across when setting up the company? Well, the real biggest obstacle, and I think it's the same for a lot of small businesses, was getting finance, which is a pain because all banks are evil, and know nothing about small businesses. In my first business, I'd had 9 different bank managers in 9 years, and only one of them bothered to come and see what setup we were running. We were a retail shop, but so you could say 8 of those 9 bank managers had no idea what my business was like. Banks don't help when you need a loan because the repayments are usually too high for small businesses. When we started Sinners Music Ltd, we opened a new bank account. We had a full business plan, and the bank said we weren't borrowing enough and that we should pay the loan that we were looking to borrow over 3 years and not 2 years. And we told them to stick it, really, because we were able to get a lower interest rate from Sainsbury's, the supermarket, which isn't really right, really. So, I mean, what I would say is if you're going to have to get a loan, shop around. What are the main departments of work and what does the label offer to signed artists, i.e. promo, mixing, mastering, management? First things first, we don't really sign anybody. It's the Tony Wilson Factory Records approach. We want to work with artists on each release that they want to put out. If we've recorded the work, then I'll mix it but get somebody else in to master it, providing there is budget there to do that. All recording costs are worked out at the start, so the artist, the band know roughly where we're going to be. The artist can go and record elsewhere if they wish. We don't tie them to any of that. Giving us the final package, that's fine, but we always reserve the right to reject anything that we don't think is right. It's usually if something's badly recorded. We've only done it a couple of times. We had an EP cover once that we thought the cover wasn't right. And we had one song that wasn't mastered as well as the rest of the album, so we asked them to go back and get it mastered. Regarding promotion, we do our own sort of social medias to help. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we'll put a bit through the YouTube channel. I also play them on my Audiophile Radio Show. We also have links, although not financially, to a couple of music PR companies that we know. One in York and one in Leeds, and we would recommend those companies, but that's a relationship between the artist and the PR company. You know, we don't tend to get involved in that unless we're asked for advice, really. As far as managers are concerned, we don't get involved with managers. We only work with artists who are nice. If a band's got a manager, that's fine, but from our point of view, we're dealing with the artist, we're not dealing with management. Next question. How much investment was required in creating the company? Ooh, okay. Right, full disclosure. When we purchased the music shop, we took out a loan of about £20,000, I think it was, which we wanted to pay back over 2 years. We had a full business plan. We did all of that. We also had about another £10,000 worth of studio equipment, which has been amassed over the years. We then kept reinvesting in the business when we could. The last capital expenditure that we had was a purpose-built studio, which I'm sat in, which was built in 2017 and cost about £10,000. We didn't need to borrow for that. We already had the money in the bank. So, all intents and purposes, 30,000 was where we started. So, what are the main sources of income? Currently, our main source of income is still retail sales, and although we sold the music shop, we still have agencies and we still have stock to sell, because when we sold the business, not all of the stock was sold with the business. We retained some of that. So that's currently where the most of our income comes from, although that will diminish certainly over the next year, 18 months. After that, we have a couple of albums to finish. That is not my work. But with the UK being in lockdown, we can't finish them until, well, next year at the earliest. One of those albums we've been working on for about a year. We would say to anybody that the cheapest we can record an album really is for about £5,000. That's everything all in. And we really, as a business, can't count on any new recording work this year, and maybe not even next year. Luckily, we don't have any debts or loans on the business, So our future will be fine, providing we tighten our belts and make sure that we don't waste any money. And I think all businesses will need to do that now. What are the main financial outgoings? So when we had the music shop, it was rent and wages. Now we don't have the music shop, it's wages. Although light, heat, utilities can't be ignored. Our VAT bill is still quite big each quarter, so it's a significant amount and needs to be paid on time. And we would always say, always pay your bills on time. We need to make sure we have enough funds to cover all of that sort of stuff. In fact, always pay your creditors on time, whether it's HRMC with VAT and tax, or whether it's people you're buying stock from, whatever it is. I have a rule, if we can't afford it, we basically don't buy it. And we now never borrow money. You've got to pay it back and you've got to pay interest on it. It's also worth pointing out that running a record label, in most cases, isn't a way to get rich. I do it because we love it. And I would make sure that you know where all of the money is all of the time. I spend probably most of my time making sure that, you know, money that's coming in, money that's going out, that we know exactly where we are. So I mean, Sinners Music was originally about my music and the bands that I played in. And it still is. We just happen to help others get their music out there. Nobody should be doing this for the money, if I'm honest. You do it because you love it, really. I hope that makes sense. Well, Tom, I hope that's okay. And let me see your project when it's finished. The next record label video will be in a couple of weeks, and we'll cover advertising, merchandising and promotion. I know we've talked about some of the promotional stuff in here. So thanks very much for watching, and if you've any questions, pop them in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. So thanks very much, stay safe everybody, cheers now, bye bye.